It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and we're on to our last beer that was kindly given to me whilst I was at the brewery, a Vale of Glamorgan Brewery, Vog Brewery, in my hometown, Barry, South Wales. Just a mile in that direction over there. So I was on my daily walk, my phone rang. Hey, it's the guys at Vale of Glamorgan. I was like, how are you doing? And he said, do you want to come over? We'll discuss bits and pieces and we'll give you some beer. So we went over, we chatted about beer, the beer industry and so forth. And as I was leaving, they said, we got some beer for you to review. There you go. So I have been reviewing a lot of their beers and this is the last one. I'm kind of hoping that I've saved the best until last. This is called Sith Order. It's a barrel-aged Imperial Stout. If you can imagine a world where it was Obi-Wan Kenobi, wasn't it? Obi-Wan Kenobi took down this particular Sith, didn't he? I seem to remember in the films. But if you can imagine Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't win that battle and that Sith won, then you can imagine that, well, this sort of person would be ruling the galaxy. Without further ado, 11.5% ABV. The taste is of coconut, coffee, chocolate, aromas with hints of whiskey and oak. Being a barrel-aged beer, you'd fully expect whiskey and oak. And the colour is saying as dark as night. So here we go. Without further ado, let's get this beer out into a glass and see what we get. Ooh, it could be a little bit thicker for an 11.5% ABV. That's pouring quite thin. Could have done with some, I was expecting a bit of a gloopiness, a bit of a kind of like blub, 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 blub. You know, 11.5% ABV, lots of malt. It's, to be fair to the beer, it's got good head retention. We've still got a one finger tan coloured head. It's jet black in the glass. Looks really good. Little bit of carbonation, little bit of light. Well, no, actually it's jet black. It is jet black, but my immediate thoughts on the beer is that it does look quite thin. Let's get the aroma. But it smells good. That's the most important thing. Now this is probably the first time I've ever drank a barrel-aged beer that's been barrel-aged in Barry. We used to have all of these wonderful beers. The reason why I got into beer in the first place was to drink these wonderful beers from wonderful styles, wonderful tastes, but it all felt so far away. It never felt like it was on your doorstep type of thing. Until it is right now. We have an amazing award-winning craft beer bar in Barry called Craft Republic. And now we have this brewery here brewing barrel-aged Imperial Stouts. And it's only a mile away in that direction. If it wasn't such a misty day today, I think I'd head over there and sup away and drink at their brewery tap. Yeah, it's a little bit roasty, a little bit toasty. Lots of roasted malt coming through. A little bit of licorice, a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of dark chocolate, roasted malt, an oaky woodiness with some whiskey. It's definitely a kind of a whiskey barrel that they've used. It smells good. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. That's quite nice. It is as I initially thought. It's very thin. It probably needed a load of oats. Chuck a load of oats in it, get it nice and thick and creamy and rich. It's very pleasant though. It's very pleasant. I mean, the amount of people that probably want to drink this beer, they would probably be very happy with it. It's just my old school way of thinking, like what an Imperial Stout at this ABV probably would have been like in yesteryear. And that's probably half my problem. Half my problem is probably my age. The fact that I've kind of gone through the very early stages of when I first got into beer, 2010, drinking Imperial Stouts back then that were like, they were like engine oil. They were literally like gloopy engine oil coming out of a bottle and a can. I loved it. Brilliant. It was like, wow, this is just the best thing since sliced bread. I love the thickness, the richness of some big, thick beers. But I suppose the reality is probably I'm in the minority. It's probably me in the minority that wants to drink those sorts of beers. I mean, comment in the comments box. If your impression, if your instinct of an Imperial Stout is to be thick and fat and gloopy, let me know. But then at the same time, if it's not, if your idea of an Imperial Stout is to be almost kind of refreshing, then equally comment in the comments box. It's good beer. I mean, if you rock the beer back and forth, you can see. Can you hear that? Hear that? I don't have to say much, do I? Just, it's the scrap iron people, and he's just like wandering around all the cars, but of course he's on his horn at the same time. Scrap iron. It's like, you know, when I used to be kind of like, you used to hear those stories years ago. Oh, years ago we'd have the scrap iron man round, he'd be shouting off his truck, and then literally, like, I don't know, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, like, you like woken up in your beds like with some bloke shouting off of his microphone. It's almost bonkers, isn't it? Almost bonkers that I don't know, maybe it's recycling. Maybe this is where the world should have been all along. So anyway, back to the beer. It's quite a nice beer, actually. It's quite nice. It's plum, fig, prune, some coconut, as they mentioned, a little bit of sweet caramel, roasted malt, plum, fig, prune from the hops, a little bit of bitterness on the back end. Oaky, yeah, it's oaky and kind of whiskey-like. Question is, will I finish it? And I'm going to say yes. Yes, I'm going to finish this beer. We're about to start budget day 2024. And it's always kind of like grim reading. There's never great news from a budget, is there? So I might just sit quietly and sup away at this with a budget on the TV. Rating for the beer, Sith order, barrel aged Imperial Stout. I think the more I'm drinking this, the more I'm enjoying it, the more I'm appreciating its kind of complexities. It's a really decent beer. It's a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. It would be a 10 if it wasn't as thin as it was. But please, put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom, cheers.